The update query is an action query that will make changes to values within a table. For example, I've got my book project table, and what field of values do I want to change? Let's go ahead and update the book price and increase it by, let's say, 5%. Maybe not all of the records, but just those records whose part number begins with 10 or 14. None of the 11s, okay? So I went ahead and I created my query based upon this table. It's the retail price. Go ahead and let me double click and open it up. I've got the part number, book title, book price, and a new field that I added. It's a custom calculating field, as we learned how to do in the custom calculating training video. In any case, to break it down, over here you can see that I'm only pulling up those books whose part number begins with 10 or 14, none of the 11s. In fact, let me go ahead and take you to the design view here and show you. Here's the criteria for the part number field. You can see it's like 10 or like 14, and there's the asterisk. As you recall in the past couple of training videos, it's the wildcard. So it means in this case that the part number field has to begin with 10, and then the wildcard says it doesn't matter what comes after it. There's additional characters, but it has to begin with 10 or 14, one or the other, and because both of them are available or show up in the table, it'll pull here in my query. And then there's the book title field, the book project, and then the new custom calculating field that I added, which when I right click and zoom in, you can take a look at it. As you recall in the custom calculating field training video, anything to the left hand side of the colon is going to be the name of the field, and then to the right you go ahead and you enter in the name of the field that you want to perform a calculation on in square brackets, and in this case I multiplied it by 1.05 or 5%. Of course, you see the asterisk here. It means something different. It's not a wildcard, it's actually performing the calculation, multiplying these two fields. Okay, click OK. I did that only because I wanted to see what it looks like and compare the original book price to what it would be when I perform this update. I don't need this. I can go ahead and just delete it here. That's got nothing to do with creating my update query. Now, to convert this to an update query, just come up here on the Design tab to the Query Type group. You've got these action queries here, and there it is, Update. Click on it, and boom. It does two things. It converts it to an update query. As you can see, when I hover off of it, it's selected. And down below, it adds an Update To field down below here in the grid. So what I need to do is to find the field that I want to update to, the values within it, and it's going to be the book price field, and then in its corresponding update to cell just below it, go ahead and type in that formula. In other words, open square brackets and then the name of the field that we want to update, and there it is. When I start typing, it pulls up the two fields that are available in the table that this query is based upon, book price or book title. Once it pulls up, you can arrow down or arrow up to select the one that you want to be able to perform the calculation with. Hit the tab key and it pulls it in. And then asterisk to multiply by 1.05. So it's looking at the book price field and it's going to apply this update to it, taking it, multiplying it by 1.05, and that will be the new book price. I'm going to go ahead and hit the tab key to make sure that Access checks my work, I don't get any errors, and that's it. All you have to do is come up here and click on the Run button. When I click on the Run button, it'll actually run the query. Now here's the difference between using the View button and the Run button. When you're working with action queries, and the update query is an action query, that when you click on the Run button, it'll perform the action. Now, if I'm hesitant and I'm a little bit leery going, oh man, I'm going to be updating, let's pretend, tens of thousands of records. Do I really want to do this? Well, there's two things you can consider before you actually run it. You can actually go ahead and click on the View button and view the field that you're going to be updating and see if this is something that you don't have any second thoughts, because until you actually run it, it's not going to update the field here, okay? Back to our design view here. And as you can see, it didn't show the other fields. And if that doesn't satisfy you because you can't see the other fields, then you may just want to go back to a select query, and it adds the check boxes here that you can go ahead and click on the View button, see them and double check, sweat some more, then go back to the design view, and then go ahead and select Update. And you can see it still has my calculation there in the Update To field for the book price field, so I don't have to retype it in. And then the second thing you can do is actually make a backup of the table. So if you go ahead and click Run, and then later on you're like, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Boy, that's a lot of work if you have thousands of records. So instead, go ahead and right click on it, make a copy of it, and then find a blank area down below and right click and click on Paste. If you can't find a blank area because you got so many Access objects down below, then come up on the Home tab and click on the Paste button. And then it says, okay, we'll go ahead and we'll copy and paste the structure and the data, the records, in the copy of your book project table. Click Okie dokie. So we have the original here, we have the backup, okay? So now back here, let me click on the Design tab so I can go ahead and see my Run button. When I click Run, and it multiplies everything by 1.05, I've got a backup now so I don't have to sweat bullets if I made a mistake. Okay, I'm dragging this out. Let's just go ahead and do it. Let me go back to the book project table. Remember, it's $34.50. When I come back here to the query, back to the design tab and click run, uh-oh, it's not working. Well, if you notice down here in the status bar, it says the action or event has been blocked by disabled mode. What that means is that I probably have my settings for access set up to not allow any macros to run or any codes. So what I have to do is I have to come up here, click on the File tab, go down to Options, come to the Trust Center, go to the Trust Center settings, go to the macro settings, and you can see it disables all macros with notification. Well, I didn't get any notification, at least not in the message bar, because it says never show information about block content. I can change that to always show, or better yet, just not mess with it right now and just say, okay, enable all macros. I mean, it warns you, it says, hey, it could be dangerous, but look, if I'm the one that's creating this database and nobody else, would I create code to damage my own computer? I mean, intentionally. Maybe by mistake. In any case, you get my point. Let's go ahead and click OK. And then if you come up here and you try to click run again, it's not going to work because you have to close your database and open it back up for that setting to take place. So let's go ahead and save our work. Come up here, click on File, go to Save Object As, and let's name it QUPD for Q query UPD for update, and say it's my, and then click OK. So click on the File tab again to get back, and notice over here in the Query section in the navigation pane that it's got the symbol that represents, as you can see up here, the update query, a pencil and an exclamation point, as opposed to a select query where it's not an action query, where you go ahead and you open it up, you click the run button, it's not going to perform any action. Okay, so let's go ahead and close out of the database. Looks like we've got some stuff on our clipboard when we copied and pasted and we created our backup table. This will cause it to empty the clipboard. Do you want to continue? Yes. Open up Access. Over on the left-hand side, it lists the four most recent databases I've been working on. The most recent of recents is at the top. Flex Query. Click on that. Opens it up. It's down below. The update query. Now you don't want to click on this because if you double-click on it right now, it's going to run the action query, unless you want to do that. So if I double-click on it, it says, you're about to run an update query. Do you want to do this? Oh, no. Close out. You can right-click, go to the design view, and then click on the run button, and go ahead and run it from there. I mean, we're so used to double-clicking on these select queries, these non-action queries, to open it up in the datasheet view. Well, when you have an action query like this, don't double-click on it unless you're sure you want to run it. In any case, it tells me that we're about to update 17 rows of data. Are you sure you want to do this? Click yes, and that's it. Let's go ahead and open up our book project table. Double-click. It used to be $34.50 for the basic medical billing book. There we go. It did its job. It increased it by 5%. And of course, I can come back in here and just go nuts. Click on the Design tab and go, oh, let's run it again. Yes, I could just go mad with price increases here, and hopefully somebody will buy it at such a high price. And then, of course, go back to the book project table, and you can see it increased it. It was $36, now it's $38. So be careful, run it once, and if you don't want to run it again, then don't double-click on it, or don't come back in here on the Design tab and click on the Run button. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel to get notified of the latest videos. And for great specials on my products, please see the description below this video.